favourite thing in the world, which is cycling, right? Something that we've all done from when we were small children, and it's evolved into something that we can now do at home, that we can measure our athletic performance, we can race with people all around the world. So MyWhoosh has been around for about 5 or 6 years. We've developed a platform that has taken people from just being able to ride, to do workouts, to training, to all of those different things that you do in order to increase not just your physical activity, but your cycling fitness, if you are an elite level cyclist or just somebody that does things for fun. So esports has developed very, very quickly in that space. So we're in the physical esports world is what we call what we do. So it's really outdoor cycle racing brought home and to your own garage. Now, what I'm going to do today is to talk about how we use AI, which is really exciting, that's involved in something as simple as cycling, and how we bring that into verifying that the people that are out there are real, they're not cheating. We've got some riders here today that race with our platform that can be verified in their garage in France, in my garage in Australia, and how we know people are not cheating. But before we do that, MyWhoosh has run the last 2 World Championships driven by the UCI in our platform. We've done a Triathlon World Championships. We've run $2 million events that are multi-week events, and we pay out about $4 to $5 million a year in online racing. So it's very important that the cheating aspect is dealt with. And originally when we started this, the cheating aspect was basically done on a spreadsheet with a couple of humans, and our results were okay, but they weren't where we needed them to be. And through engaging AI, we've been able to fast track that, and that's what we'll talk about today. But before we do that, it's a really good idea to have a look on the screen. Let's play a video and get the concept and what MyWhoosh looks like. And from there, we can explain a little further on how we use AI for our verification and within our game. So these are the MyWhoosh worlds. We've got 13 or 14 worlds that are developed. We use AI in our art development in putting these together. If we look at the riders here, they've got a trainer. That trainer measures their power, and the avatar is on the screen. We've got running, we've got rowing coming very shortly as well. All free of charge, by the way, and the MyWhoosh police is AI driven, so he kicks people out of races that are breaking the rules. We've got Tadej as one of our ambassadors, the greatest cyclist the world's probably ever seen. These are some clips from our World Championship and from Super Tri over the last few years. This is our weekly Sunday race club, where there's about $1 million every quarter in prize money. And this is what we really need to verify for our racing. This was our 7-day championships this year. It was $1 million prize money for that 7 days. It's a huge community piece as well. It's not just for the elite racing. So that's a little outline on MyWhoosh. But getting here to talk about what we're here to talk about is, I suppose we need to understand what racing is. So the rider connects their bicycle to the trainer pushes the power to the game. That rider's power is divided by their weight to give them an acceleration factor. So there's lots of physics, there's lots of those things involved, aerodynamic drag, and they're equal across everybody. Now again, they've been data modeled in AI to ensure that they're realistic to what happens in the real world. So in MyWhoosh, if you ride one of the climbs or you ride one of the local roads that's in our game, it will be within 1% of reality. So yeah, so that you can compare your times anywhere around the world. But verification matters when we race. And it matters because we're paying out millions of dollars of prize money, and we need those people to be real. Now, what we do firstly is we need to understand the rider. So we need to understand their physiology. Who is Matt Smithson? What are his capabilities? And is he achieving them, or is there something there that's not correct? So what we tend to do with that is we end up with a performance signature of each rider. And that's based on millions of points of data we have on those riders, on known data that we have out in the field, and AI data modeled in the background saying, if Matthew sprints as hard as he can and then sprints again 20 seconds later, that's impossible for him to do, because the data of the thousands of riders that we have out there say you can't do that. Where if we're doing that on a spreadsheet, on myself and Philip here who used to help me do this, if we're doing that going, well, is that real? Is that right? Could that person do it? Where the AI calculations that have put that together and the modelling and the learning allows us to, within a huge degree of certainty, to say that that is real. But we can do some other things. So it can take my heart rate and it will say Matt's heart rate, 145 beats a minute on a hill at 2% should be 280 watts of power. Now, if that is not in that power bracket, we know that I have done something. Either I've become fitter, but the model should allow for that, or there's something not working correctly with my hardware, or I may be manipulating signals in order to win more prize money. Now that's calculated AI real time, and we saw the drone come up there before, and that will kick the rider out of the race live. So when people are racing, firstly, they come to race with us because they know that it's real. They know that people are not cheating. But then the people that have won know that they've raced other people of equal ability. So it's a really real, it's a win-win, and using that, the known historic baselines and that fingerprint of each rider continues to build more and more data modelling around the world, so that new people come in, we know the expectations, we know how people will perform on certain events. But what we also then do is we design the courses and the racing, which we just did for the World Championships 2 weeks ago, based on what we know the physiological capabilities of those riders are, and what will put on a good show and entertainment. So firstly, as we've spoken about, we deal with the physiological values of the rider. Then we have to deal with the equipment that the riders use. So we've got our partners here today, and our booth is just behind us, where we have the Wahoo Kicker Trainer. Now the Wahoo Kicker Trainer is within 1% accuracy of its reading. However, with some tools and 10 minutes, I can adjust the reading on that trainer. I can make it read higher, pushing me further up the ladder, more prize money, things along those lines. If you put them in the freezer, for example, they'll read differently to if they're being put in the sun all day. So there's little things like that. And so what we really need, what we do is we compare them to another power meter that is linked to pedals or people's cranks. The difference between those two is a known stable factor. And so through, again, our AI modelling, we analyse the variance of behaviour over time. And so it will know when I'm going up or down a hill what those variances should be. And again, if those variances change, we can kick people out, or we know that in one way or another they could be cheating. So this is all important because it's not just about MyWhoosh and growing, I suppose, what we do. The future of cycling is going to end up in this space. Sure, the Tour de France will always exist, and I hope that it does. But the racing for people on a Tuesday night, when we need insurance approvals and we have accidents and we have all of that, you know, we've got 1,000 people each week racing on our SRC, and we need to get this right for the future. And AI has fast-tracked that for us. So we look at that, the resistance curves, any shifts in power. We know, again, that heart rate to power we've talked about physiologically. There's so many different things that we can do that can push this to the forefront. Trainers can be calibrated. We get that calibration reading. We get all of those pieces. And what AI allows us to do is to bring all of this into one place very quickly and to know if something's just not right. And there's nothing worse than racing somebody and going, is that real? Did they really do that? Are they capable of that? So we certainly have moved in that direction. But the other piece where we're using AI very heavily is in our categorization. So our racing is not just from level 1, it goes right the way through to the 6 levels, and we use that to match people along the way on their physical capabilities and ensure that the racing is fair and equal amongst everybody. So that's it about MyWhoosh and our verification. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.